All right, you just got home, you're tired, you feel like crap, you wish you could eat out, but everywhere is closed and you're broke. You have $2 and you need that $2 for tomorrow for the drink that's gonna get you through your job anyway. What do you make? You make this sauce right here. It's gonna be done in about maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30. This is going to be, I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. This is what I make when my husband comes home and is hungry and I need something that's low effort but tastes really good. And you should make it even if you think you can't cook because you deserve it. It's super easy. I'm gonna walk you through it. No cuts, no cuts. It's going to be a very chaotic, real, raw cooking video. Okay, hopefully it turns out well. All right, well, what you're gonna need first, you're gonna need a pan. Right, got a pan right here. It's a nice non-stick pan. I recommend non-stick. Put that on your oven. You're also gonna need a pot. All right, now technically this feeds two, so we're gonna need a pot that we can put 2 servings of pasta in. About 2 servings of pasta. The first thing you're gonna do, you're gonna take this pot and you're gonna fill it with water. Up close on the pot with the water. Right, you're gonna fill it up. You see we have a line on our pot that shows where to put the water. Fill it up. First thing you're gonna do this first, trust me. Put that on your stove. Turn the burner on high. We're gonna wait for that to boil. The second thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna turn this on to medium. Medium on my stove's about 3, right here. Put that on medium. The first ingredient we need is butter. Now, if you're trying not to have a heart attack, this might not be the recipe for you, but it's not that bad. You can probably use oil if you want. I like to use butter. If you use butter, it's probably gonna taste a little bit better. If you use oil, less risk of death, I suppose. So we're gonna, again, this is a no chop, very little measuring recipe. So we're gonna put about 3 tablespoons of butter in here. I just use a regular spoon. What looks like 3 tablespoons. 3 spoonfuls. Get in the pan. Get in. You gotta do it on the side a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna use my finger. It's fine. All right. And you're gonna let that melt. You know, it's on medium heat. So we're just letting it melt in the pan. Just like that. I'm gonna keep this spoon out just in case I need it for later. This is what I do. All right, we're gonna put this butter back out of the fridge. Next ingredient we need, I'm also gonna wipe this butter off my finger. Out of the fridge, well, you gotta follow me around. Out of the fridge, you're gonna get pre-chopped garlic. Does this taste as good as fresh garlic? No, it doesn't, but I'm at the point of my adult life, maybe you've reached this point too, where I chop garlic 1 day, maybe 2 days a year, Christmas and Thanksgiving. The rest of the year, we're going with pre-chopped garlic. Now your butter's starting to bubble a little bit in here, get it all around the pan. What we're gonna do, we're gonna take another spoon. Here's how much garlic we're gonna get. Now, if you like it garlicky, just get more garlic, it's fine. Maybe about half a spoon like that, and then we just throw it in there. Just like that, save that spoon in case. And now we're gonna get a spatula. Let's see, I think we're gonna have to get one out of the dishwasher because ours are dirty. We're gonna get a spatula. There we go. And we're gonna run this garlic around the pan. Make sure it really gets in that butter. Now the next ingredient we need, let that saute a little bit, medium heat, medium heat. You can put this garlic back. The next ingredient we're gonna get, is coming out of the pantry, we're gonna get some tomato paste. Right here, tomato paste. All right. Go ahead and get that out of your box. I like to get this tube stuff because as we all know, I cannot open cans, so I like the tube. Take the little lid off. See, it's pokey right there. Use that. Make a hole in your tomato paste. It's open, it's ready. How is this garlic doing? The garlic is bubbling, just like that. Here, garlic is bubbling, it's a little golden. What we're gonna do, we're gonna dump, I'm rolling up my sleeves, we're gonna dump this whole thing of tomato paste right on top of that garlic. The whole thing. And again, this serves 2, basically, or maybe 3, depending on how big your stomach is. We're dumping the whole thing of paste in there. Be careful once you get to the end, because if you grip it wrong, then it will go like this and shoot tomato paste directly at you, and you will be very upset. So be careful. All right. Done with our tomato paste. I'll throw that away in a second. You're going to smush that, run that around the pan. Make sure you get all your garlic into the tomato paste. Oh, are we getting a good, is that a good angle? Okay. Get all the garlic into the tomato paste, just like that. And I like to sort of flatten it to make sure, you know, a lot of it is sauteing. Bring it up just a little bit more. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just flattening it to make sure, you know, there's a lot of the tomato paste is getting sauteed versus it's all glooped in one spot. That's not a lot of tomato paste touching the bottom. We want it to touch the bottom, and we want it to sizzle and cook down, reduce down for a few minutes. It's gonna start to look a little bit more like ground beef almost, and it's gonna start to look a little bit darker. That's gonna take a few minutes, and we're gonna sort of swirl it around the pan a little bit every now and then. Now the next step, let me go ahead and go grab what we're gonna need next. This is also coming out of the pantry, unless you have one that's already open. We are using this cheap box wine because we do not have vodka. Technically, this is a vodka sauce. However, we do not have vodka, so you can just use regular box wine. Tastes great, tastes fine. I don't know, if you have like whiskey or something, it'd probably be okay. Probably tastes a little weird because it's not a white or light in color alcohol, but you know that this is real person cooking. Just throw it in there and see how it goes. It's no big deal. Don't be worried. You can't be worried. I'm stirring that around the pan once again because the tomato paste can burn, and maybe I might just burn it for you just a little bit to show you what it looks like. If it burns, don't worry. Just keep going. Usually you can't taste it a whole lot once you get to the final product. See, it's already starting to darken, look a little bit more, less smooth almost. A little bit more ground beefy almost. Do that around the pan once again. I also use a couple of seasonings for this recipe. Your most important seasoning is going to be salt. Again, you can adjust all these how you like. Most important is salt. We are also going to use smoked paprika. You can use cayenne if you want, if you like a little bit more spice. I also like to use thyme. We are almost out of thyme, aren't we all? Where's the pepper? The next one is, we're gonna use some pepper. Not a whole lot because we have the smoked paprika going in there as well. But these are our spices, and this is gonna add, spice adds flavor. Don't be scared of spices. Get them in there. We're gonna go ahead and throw away the tomato paste so I do not have to worry about it. Throw it in there. You need to take out the garbage, that's fine. I'm gonna give this another stir around. So I have my apron on because this will start to bubble and pop and get all over your clothes if you are not careful. See, it looks even more ground beefy, even darker. We're gonna let it go just a little bit more. And as you see, while we're doing this, that water is coming up to boil. Very important. Do that water first, do that water first. Spread that around. This doesn't need too much longer. Just like that. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get the pasta for that water out. You can really use anything. Let's see, what are we going to use tonight? I think we might use, let's see, we have a lot of fettuccine. Somehow we have 4 boxes of fettuccine. So we will be using some spaghetti. But again, you can use anything. Since it's a sauce, a nice sauce, a shape is going to hold your sauce a little bit better. But this is real cooking. Use what you have. We have 4 boxes of spaghetti somehow. So actually I'm going to leave that over there because that's going to go in our water. Okay, come take a look at this. See, this looks a lot different than how it did a second ago. It's a lot darker. A lot of that water has evaporated out. Turn back the video, take a look at it when we first put it in there. So, see, I'm going to let it go for a few seconds just to show you what it looks like when it starts burning a little bit. And so you can be more confident when cooking that if you mess up, it's still going to turn out fine. We're going to let that go a few more seconds. And we can start to hear this water has almost come up to a rolling boil. We want a rolling boil when the bubbles are rolling across the surface because that's going to help our spaghetti not stick. And we see how evaporated down this is. Going to let it go a little bit. See if we can get it a little bit burnt on the bottom. We've got a beautiful sizzle. We see that garlic in there. And time-wise, this is perfect. It's almost at a boil right as we're about to put the wine in here. All right. See, it's getting super dark now, super dark. All right. So it's just at the point where it's just about to burn, about to be a little bit too much. It should look just like this. So this process is maybe going to take about, let's see, maybe that was 7 minutes, but I urge you, instead of timing, just watch your food. Watch your food. When it looks sort of like this, when you got a good feeling, just move on to the next step. And this is what the next step is going to be. You see how dark and ground meaty that looks? We're ready to move on. I'm going to move all of that into the center here. What we're going to do, we're going to take this boxed wine and we're going to pour a little bit into here. Now, if I were to pour half of this wine, it would be about half a cup. We're not going to do that because that's a lot for this. If this were vodka, it'd be like a tablespoon maybe. Wine's a little bit more diluted. So I'm just going to pour it in there so it feels about right. So that's probably about 1/4 of a cup if you want to measure, but I just pour until it kind of coats the whole bottom. And if you get a little bit more in there, it's fine. If you got a little bit less in there, it's also going to be fine. We're trying to get you through this evening without having to use a bunch of measuring cups so you don't have to wash anything. And you see that wine, it started off super liquidy. A bunch of that alcohol has already cooked off. And that's exactly what we want. We're just left with the flavor of the wine. Awesome. So a lot of the liquid's already gone. We've added the flavor of the alcohol. Our water's at a rolling boil over here. I'm going to go ahead and put the spaghetti in first. That is a good rolling boil. I'm going to go to 2 on our spaghetti here. And y'all, I'm going to be honest. Usually I break the spaghetti. I'm not going to break it tonight. Usually I break the spaghetti so I don't have to deal with it. I'm not going to do it tonight. But we got to be honest. So I'm going to just sit that right there. I'm going to keep an eye on it, make sure those edges don't burn. Gently kind of push that in. Going to give this a stir. More of that alcohol has cooked off. We're almost ready to go to the next step for our sauce. We're also going to add some salt into this pasta water to season our water. I'm going with about 2 pinches. 2 pinches. You can try adding a little bit more. You can try adding a little bit less. Just see how it turns out. Don't worry about it. See, I'm going to use a fork to push that the rest of the way down so I do not burn myself. There we go. All right, and now every once in a while, we just want to give this pasta a stir. Once you got it in there, go ahead and set your timer. And we are eating in T-minus this timer, so about 10 minutes. I'm going to grab another paper towel for this fork. Some people use plates for this. I haven't quite reached that point in my adult life where I'm ready for that. The next step on that sauce, I'm going to put this back. We are going to grab a carton of coconut milk so we can try to keep the dairy down in this dish. You can also use heavy cream. If you use heavy cream, your sauce is going to be a little bit more orange. Since we're using this coconut milk, our sauce is going to be a little bit more red. All you have to do is just start pouring it in there. Start pouring it in there. Use your eyes. Use your eyes. Pour it in there. Give it a stir. We want it just a little bit liquidy because in this 10 minutes on this timer, this is going to reduce and get a little bit thicker. And we will also be adding cheese at the end, which is also going to make it a little bit thicker. So give it a stir and see how liquidy your consistency is. And also, like I said before, don't worry about a whole lot. See that? Starting to look like a sauce now. It's a little thick, so I'm going to add a little bit more. A good way to test how thick it is, just run a line. See how long it takes for the liquid to cover up the line again. Took a little bit, so that's a little thick. So we're going to add a little bit more coconut in there, coconut milk. And you don't have to worry about it being too thin because we can always do things to thicken it up. And you don't have to worry about it being too thick because we can always do things to thin it back out again. So you don't have to worry. You just have to make this delicious sauce for yourself that you deserve and that you can totally make. And look how short of a time it takes to cover it back up. Still a little bit thick. I'm going to add just a little bit more. Still a little thick, but I think that's probably good. Give that a stir. And just like that, see, I haven't touched the heat this whole time. It's been on medium. This is going to start to bubble. Those bubbles mean it is getting thicker. I'm going to screw the top on the coconut milk and the wine. This is really when this will start to pop on your clothes. So if you're wearing white like I am, throw an apron on or don't wear white. Or wash your clothes, I guess. I'm going to go ahead and stir the spaghetti. We've got about 7 minutes left on the spaghetti, which means we've got 7 minutes for this sauce to thicken. And then we'll have our meal. So this is when I usually spice. So I'm going to take this salt and I'm going to do, again, about 2 pinches in here. For every serving, I like to do sort of a pinch of salt with this kind of salt. If you have a salt shaker, just, you know, shake, 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 you're done. Maybe about 4 shakes of the salt shaker. This time's almost out, so I might just dump the whole thing in here. You know, never have too much time, am I right? If I had to measure, that's maybe about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon, if you really want to measure. Now it's bubbling quite a lot. So again, on this stage, we're gonna use our eyes. It's bubbling quite a lot. Look how far. My hand was way back here. The sauce popped all the way to my hand. So I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit. It's okay if you go to medium low, which is between your low and your medium. So for me on this stove, that's about a 2. It might vary for your stove. Just use your eyes. It's bubbling a little bit less. We're good to go. And we also need to add in our pepper and smoked paprika. Take the smoked paprika. That's what we're gonna do. Get it ready. Shake, 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 shake. That's all we need. Maybe about 3 cracks of pepper, since we've got that paprika in there. And then we're gonna stir it in. And I can smell the paprika. And I just saw that pop way, like a foot away. So I might turn that down even just a little bit more. I'm gonna stir everything in. And the great thing about this, you get better at making this every time you make it. When you start to learn your seasoning preferences, what you like, it only gets better. You don't have to wash any measuring cups. You don't have to chop anything. It's great. It's perfect. We've got under 5 minutes till we drain this pasta and we are ready for our meal. Now, I think the last ingredient for this sauce we're gonna grab out of the fridge. Some people might yell at me for not using a block, but this is a no chop, easy, simple recipe. So we have pre-grated Parmesan cheese right here. Right before this pasta goes in, we're gonna take this off the heat and add in some cheese. This is gonna thicken the sauce. If you're no dairy, don't want to add this, don't add it. It's fine, no worries. So right before we put the pasta in, very important, take it off the heat or the cheese will do very bad things. We don't want the cheese to get too hot once it goes in here. And because I have the cheese, Daisy is also here. Daisy really wants the cheese, so we might also give her some of the cheese. So we have the cheese out and ready to go in. I'm gonna give this a stir. Every once in a while, you wanna stir this sauce while it's simmering, so the sauce that's on the outside goes back into the center. Because the flame's in the center, and this isn't a very good pan. So flame's in the center is gonna be the hottest, so we wanna get the sauce on the edges to the center, so everything is thickening. You see how the bubbles are pretty much just in the center? That's okay, that's perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and put this back. Keep our station clean. This is also pretty light on cleanup, which is good. Another stir. I'm a little bit paranoid, and see how this is starting to thicken? The line is now taking a little bit longer to go back. We've got about 3 minutes here. So you just watch, stir your pasta, stir your sauce. I don't know, have some crackers as an appetizer. I don't know, you just watch, make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do. And when the timer hits about maybe 30 seconds, we'll turn this off, throw some cheese in, give it a stir, and then we will drain our pasta, throw the pasta in. Now again, what do you do if your sauce is too thick? Add more pasta water. What do you do if your sauce is too thin? Add more cheese. And that should fix it. You should be fine. If it's a little bit thicker or thinner, nobody has to know, it's still probably gonna taste okay. The more pasta water you put in, the more diluted it will make your sauce, so be a little bit careful. It won't taste quite as flavorful if you dump half the thing of pasta water. Just save like 1/3 of a cup to throw it in there if your sauce is really, really thick. If it's really thick and you feel like you don't have to simmer it, you can always just turn it off and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Just try things. You're allowed to just try things. That's the best way to learn how to cook. It's just trying stuff. So we're almost there. We've got 1 minute and 20 seconds. 1 minute and 20 seconds. Sauce is getting thicker by the minute. And it might be fine to go ahead and put our cheese in there, honestly. I'm using my eyes. I'm evaluating the sauce. Pasta definitely needs this time on the timer. You can sort of feel it with the fork. So, you know, I think we can just turn that off and throw the cheese in. So we're turning it off. We're taking the cheese. Now, how much cheese? How much cheese do you want? Put it in there. It's gonna be fine. I do a couple of shakes. Start off with whatever you think you want. This is maybe not even a half a cup if you really want to measure it. It's maybe not even a fourth of a cup. Oh, we're getting a wide shot. And because this is not fresh cheese, it is not going to melt quite as well as freshly shaved off the block Parmesan will. Freshly shaved off the block Parmesan is just going to evaporate in this sauce. You see how this is taking a second to melt in here? You can see the cheese. That is because it is pre-grated, so not your fault. But it's a lot easier than having to bother with washing a grater, unwrapping the block of Parmesan. They're just gonna stir that and it's gonna melt slowly. We might have some residual cheese, little chunks in there. It's fine. It's fine. Stirring that in, and we heard our pasta timer go off. So, can finish giving this a stir. Dump that off. And I'm going to check on our pasta. It looks pretty good. Yeah, looks pretty good. You can try it if you want. I'm pretty confident. If it's al dente, you know, then I guess we're feeling a little bit more Italian authentic tonight. Turn it off. We're gonna go ahead and drain it. I'm gonna get our colander out for that. Hopefully Daisy does not lick it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and drain this right in the sink. I'm confident in our sauce, so I don't need to save any pasta water here. Or if we wanted to, take your colander quickly, just put it back over your pot, and it's gonna drip a little bit of pasta water into your pot if you need it. So give that a shake. Back on the stove. I'm gonna give this a stir. This is still nice and hot. The cheese is having trouble melting, but that's because it's right out of there, so I'm not really too worried. And then what you're gonna do, you're just gonna take your pasta and you're gonna dump it in your sauce. I think I needed to put a little bit more pasta, but this will just be a little bit more saucy than normal. It's fine, look at that. A beautiful vodka sauce. Definitely needed a little bit more pasta. We've got a lot of extra sauce here. But that's fine, I'm not worried. We have extra sauce, good for us. I'm gonna stir that in. I just got sauce all over the stove. It's okay. It's all right. Gonna stir that pasta in. It sounds delicious. And now I'm gonna do a plate for you guys, make it look all pretty. Grab a plate or a bowl, whatever you want. We're gonna take a plate for this time. I'm gonna grab, Daisy's gonna help me. Thank you, Daisy. I'm gonna grab a big fork. I'm gonna get a swirl of this pasta. Usually what we do is we just dump it straight from the pan. We don't even bother with this big fork. Right on there. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Take a little bit more of our cheese. I live here, so my fingers are going straight in the cheese. Sprinkle that on. We also like cheese, so it's getting a lot of cheese on the top. And now, make it look super fancy. Take your black pepper, give it a crack. There we have it. There is our, we are so tired from work and don't want to chop or measure anything. Vodka sauce pasta right there. Is this the best pasta in the world? Probably not. Is it the easiest? Maybe so. It's delicious, hot, warm, and you deserve it. Try making it. I think you can do it. If it doesn't turn out right, it's fine. Just try and do it again. And one of these times you're gonna get it, and you're gonna have a pasta sauce to add to your arsenal. And that's pretty cool. Daisy's excited. Everybody's excited. Hopefully you enjoy. I really recommend you try making it. It's pretty delicious, pretty good, and it's super easy. You deserve it. Give it a shot, and I will see you very soon. Bye, everyone.